Hello everyone, it's been a long time since I've made a video. Just been busy, and with COVID happening, that sort of killed all my work, and then as soon as we were allowed to go out again, I got extremely busy. I just got back from Austria, I did some work there over the weekend, flew in last night, and today I got a package in the mail from a BEBOP pilot who is worried about his motor, and so I'm just going to run you through what I do to check it. So the first thing I do is just turn it on, make sure that the battery is charged, and this is the best way I like to diagnose things. Even though people tell me what they think is wrong with it, I would prefer that people say what happens to the drone, like what is it doing, can it start, can it not start, because when you start assuming what the problem is, then the entire direction of that diagnosis is moving towards that, so you're expecting it. So the first thing I do is start it up and inspect it visually. I mean, you can see it's got some side scrapes, so it's had a fall somewhere, and dings on the top, so side and top. Powering it on, it boot up perfectly. You can hear that, right? All right. So the boot up sequence is when you hit the power button once, the fan comes on, it does its motor creak, beep beep beep, all four motors, checking the status of the motors, and then the fan will go off, and then it will continue to complete the boot process. When it's completely finished the booting process, then the fan comes on constantly, and the light at the back goes bright red. If it doesn't do that, it hasn't completed boot, and you're wondering why you don't get Wi-Fi. That's because it hasn't completed boot, and a lot of people make this mistake. So if it hasn't completed its boot, it's going to be very difficult to try and connect to it, because it's non-existent, because the radio doesn't come on. Alright, so I'm going to connect to the drone with my phone directly, because I'm in a bit of a time crunch, so I'm going to try and sort out his drone before I can go back to editing my work. So connect on Wi-Fi. I can see the BEBOP, which is a good sign. It's always a good sign when you can see the BEBOP. And then launch the Free Flight Pro. Alright, that looks good. I mean, it's working. So that is a good sign. I check the status of the drone, so I'm just gonna cover the serial number. So check the status of the drone. It says that all the motors are good, but since the guy said that he's worried about a motor having a problem, and I don't know which one, it's got no propellers on, I'm going to take off and we'll see what it does. So, oh, you can't see the drone. Okay, we'll put the drone there. Okay, perfect. Take off. There we go. It's got a motor 2 error as soon as the motors spin up. I don't know how you can see that. Alright, you can see it. So motor 2 error. And to find out where you can find out which motor, just go back to the home page. Right, the home page here. The home page of your app. And then go to the BEBOP, just tap on the name of the BEBOP, and then it will show you the status of the drone and the motors and the battery. So you can see one is red there. It's the front one on the left. So there we go. It's not too difficult to diagnose. Sometimes it's not too difficult to diagnose when the drone actually starts up and boots completely. But if it doesn't boot up, then it's very difficult to diagnose it. So we'll just turn this off, and I'll find a motor, change it, and then do a proper test with it to see if it all works perfectly well, and then I'll send it back possibly today. So just only a few hours to diagnose and fix, hopefully, and test. Drone's fired up, new motor is in, and we will do a test. And I'll show you what I do to test the motors. Complete boot. Complete boot means it's all good. You can check each motor again, see if they're tightly fastened. Just move them like this. Just move them up and down, and look inside at the feet of the motors or the mount, and see if they have play. If they have play, the screws are loose, so you need to open it up and tighten it. But if someone sends me their drone, I check all of that for them and tighten everything up. Alright, now that we checked all of the screws are good, I'm gonna take off with the drone, but the drone's not gonna fly anywhere, just spin the motors. And what we will do is pitch and roll the drone as it would when it's flying. I pitch it till it cuts the motors out where it reaches the maximum angle, because you want to know that the motors will actually operate up until that pitch of the drone, which is like the maximum speed that the drone will go, and it'll be angled like this, or the maximum wind tolerance where it's fighting the wind at an angle. So doing that on your bench tests out the integrity of all the motors and its ability to function correctly up until its maximum point. Alright, we'll do that. Have a happy drone. There's also one last thing that I do is put on a full battery without the propellers, and I hit takeoff and just let the motor spin up until the battery dies. What this does is heat up the stator coil, and if there's a problem with the stator coil, it most likely will come up then. Oh, that motor cage is crooked. Look at this. So I'll probably need to change this one. Look at that. It's warped. The motor cage is bent on this one. That is my video of diagnosing motor error and swapping out the motor and testing it thoroughly before going out and flying. I hope this video helped you in some way. If it didn't, I apologize. Until next time, fly safe and God bless.